everybody. Hey, look, I got the music right this time. I am so glad to be back with you. Welcome to the second week of March 2022. We are running with scissors again today, and we're going to have a ton of fun. I'm really excited about today. We're going to do a really cool technique that I shared many Tuesdays ago on my techniques playlist. This is faux gel plate printing. So if you have been thinking about getting a gel plate and you're just not sure about it, I'm going to show you a way that you can give it a try, maybe using things that you already have, to see if it's something that you're interested in. Of course, jumping for the gel plate, I totally and wholeheartedly recommend it because gel plate printing is just a ton of fun, completely addictive. I had a ton of fun yesterday working on some ideas for the next Card Maker Success Summit, and we are already planning for it. It is going to be in July. It's going to be Christmas and holiday themed projects. I am going to be using the gel plate for mine. You're going to love it. So more to come on that, of course. Hello to everyone that is joining us. If you are new here, I'd love for you to say hello, tell us where you're from. For some reason, we always want to know about the weather, so give us a weather report in your area. I will tell you it is cool, cold-ish here today. We went from expecting 2 inches of snow to expecting 9 inches of snow to getting like a trace of snow. So it's been really dry here in the middle of Nebraska. So every time a weather system tries to come in and give us precipitation, it dries out and we don't get it. So we are really behind on the wet weather. Unlike all of our friends in Australia who are dealing with some major floods right now. So all of our thoughts to everyone on the east side of Australia, our thoughts, of course, to Ukraine and all of the people there. And with that, let's move on to some crafting for today. All right, guys. So announcements. Same announcements as last week. If you were here, you can just tune out for a minute. Go get a cup of coffee, whatever. So this month, our theme, of course, is paste, powder, and paint. Today, we are focusing like really in on the paint thing. Very cool. We're going to have a fun time with that. The April, we're going to be doing a 1-set challenge. I'm still working on the details of the challenge. If you are on my mailing list, and I suggest you be on my mailing list, you will find out more about that in the coming days. Like I'm hoping to have something out through this weekend, early next week, so that way you can get signed up for the challenge. We're going to be using one stamp set all month, and I do this sometimes. We call it a stamp focus. It is a stamp set by Picket Fence. The link is down in the description if you want to grab the stamp set. And the challenge is going to be using the stamp set exclusively all month. And I'm going to show you 4 different ways to do that. And then you're going to have the opportunity to share your projects and your ideas, whether they are cased projects or new ideas that you've come up with the same stamp set. So we can all have a ton of ideas based on the same exact stamp set. So more to come. In order to get on my mailing list, go to NicoleWattCreates.com/technique freebie, and that will get you a freebie about mixed media stuff, and it will also get you on my mailing list so you can find out more about the challenge coming up. All right, excellent. Tons of crafty sales every week. Scrapbook.com's got some new ones going on this week. Tim Holtz stuff is on sale. Check it out. Scrapbook Pal has a sale going on. It's a very short sale. Check that out too. They've got Colorado Craft Company and I think Concord and Ninth on sale. I can't remember. I think those are the two. But anyway, lots of great sales, always up to date on my crafty sales page. So I work really hard. Like I update that page like every single day. It's a source that you can bookmark for all sorts of great sales. All right, so if you are inspired by anything that I'm creating here, I always love to see what you guys are creating. So don't forget to tag me at Nicole Watt Creates. I can leave a comment. I can share your projects on my channel over on Instagram. And I just love to see what you guys are doing. So tag me, okay? And then last but not least, of course, all of today's supplies are listed down below in the description. They are affiliate links. Affiliate links will possibly give me a commission at no additional cost to you. If you click on the link and do some shopping, I might get a commission. And that is an easy way, that is no additional cost to you, very easy way if you're going to do some crafty shopping to say thank you to your favorite crafters. So click on my affiliate links or someone else's affiliate links. Always use affiliate links because we're creating lots of great stuff for you guys out here on our blogs and YouTube and Instagram and everywhere. Using our affiliate links is a great way to say thank you. But if you'd like to say thank you more directly, you can always use my tip jar link. And that's a way for you to send me a little bit of cash for a cup of joe to help me going while I'm creating all this great content for you. I am through the announcements. Let's see, all sorts of chit chat going on in the chat. Hello to everybody. Glad to see all sorts of new names here in the chat. Excellent. So glad to see you guys out there. Thank you, Ruby Lily, for loving my how-to videos. I really enjoy putting those out there. If you love the how-to videos and you want something even more, I do have a Technique Library membership, and that gets you those same videos all in a searchable reference location. You can watch them all there ad-free, and it's got the supply list, and it also has a really cool reference binder sheet that you can print out and create your own Technique reference binder. It's a really fantastic resource. It has over 50 techniques already in it. It is probably 3, 4, 5 months ahead of what I'm putting out on YouTube already. So check it out. It's very, very cool. And you can hear more about that if you get my technique freebie. It's got some information on the back about that as well. Let's see. Creative Cindy wants to know, Amazon, do I have to buy certain products? No, you don't. Once you click on an affiliate link, it adds a cookie to your browsing session. And so you don't have to buy a specific product or the products that I'm promoting in my list down below. You just need to shop at that location. So whether it's Amazon or scrapbook.com or Scrapbook Pal or wherever, if you've clicked on one of those links down below, it will just get that session started, and then anything in your shopping cart, when you check out, I might get a small commission from that stuff. So thank you. All right. Yeah, affiliate links and things like that sometimes are a little confusing. So if you ever have any questions about it, please ask. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about affiliate links, what that means for you, what that means for us as the affiliate, etc. Okay. Oh, and one other thing I should say, I only ever do affiliates with companies that I truly believe in. So you can always shop safely with me. All right. Thank you. Look at all these new subscribers. Holy moly, my channel continues to grow. I'm so excited. Thank you to everybody here who is a new subscriber. So happy to have all of you on board. Maybe some of you are out there today, and I would like to say hello and welcome. All right, there we go. So let's take a look at today's project. Oh, I've got so much stuff on my desk. Holy moly. I'm just gonna flip to my hands because there's a lot going on the desk down here. All right. So today's project, this is just the kind of the core project. So we got a really cool background. We're going to do an eclipse technique. If you've never seen the eclipse technique before, this is it. Very simple, but very stunning. It's very cool. All right, we're going to do it with some black foam. It looks really awesome. All right, but we're going to do some backgrounds, and I'm going to show you how to do those. So I've got a couple of extra pieces here. Of course, they're all going to look different, completely unique. I wanted to show you some supplies for gel plate printing without a gel press. Okay, so this is just silicone mat. I think the thicker the better. So like I have these thinner ones down below here, like from Altenew. They're just a little thinner, and they don't have as much give. They would probably work, but I have this one here. This is from a larger mat. It was probably the same size as this little workstation here, so like 18 inches. And I've cut it down to use for various things. So this is kind of a more manageable size. You know, it's about, 12 inches by 8 or 10 inches, nothing really major, but it works really well. I use it for lots of different things. I use it for ink blending. I use it for protecting my surface when I heat with it. I mean, you can also use it for faux jelly plate printing. So the only thing, and I'll probably mention this a couple more times, about using this for gel plate printing is that your paint will dry faster on the silicone mat than it will on a gel plate. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say a gel plate, my big gel plate is over there. I'll just pull out a small one. So this is a small circular gel plate. And what it is just a gelatinous material. And you put paints on it and you make patterns and things like that. And you'll see as we do this today. And then you put a piece of paper on it and you lift it off and you get a really cool print. All right, so this is a gel plate. And the paint will not dry as quickly on this. So if you like this and you feel kind of like, oh, but it's so fast, I have to move so fast, you're going to want to get a gel plate because that's going to give you a little bit more time to work and a little bit more flexible freedom. Okay, so, but we're going to do the faux thing today because it's fun. Okay, so if you have a silicone mat, pull that out. A brayer, you maybe have a small brayer like this one or a large brayer like this one. Lots of different uses for brayer, but any size will do, small, large, either way. Okay, sometimes I have two out because I'm kind of like mixing and matching colors. Okay, you can pull out stencils, you can pull out dies, you can pull out stamps because we can use all of those to create texture. All right, so all of these, we're going to use all of these today. I have them all listed down below. Let's see what else. This is the die set we're going to use for our final projects, so we'll pull that out later. Let's see, and then paper. So paper that you can use. You can use regular cardstock. It will work. I like to use this Southworth resume paper. It works really well. It's nice and bright and white. I cut it in half usually, so it's 5.5 by 8.5. And it's a nice thin weight, but it's not so thin like if I use a phone book that it's going to rip. Okay, so it's a nice weight. It works really well for this type of project. It doesn't get soggy. It will soak up the paint really nice, and it dries very quickly. It's just a really great paper to use. All right. There's 100 sheets in this box and it lasts a little bit. Okay. You can also use like a phone book. So if you have an old phone book, you can pull out some pieces and use that. You just have to be careful about it ripping and things like that. Let me pull out a couple sheets here. All right. And the last thing you can use, which we're going to try today, is patterned paper. So this particular paper pad has wood grain on it, and I thought that might be kind of cool to try doing some prints with wood grain paper in the background, or even like notebook kind of paper and something like that. Okay, so let's pull out a couple pieces of this and see what we think about using patterned paper too. All right, so Becca wants to know if I've ever tried making my own gel plate. No, I haven't. I have seen tutorials as well. I just haven't been swayed enough to do that. So, but maybe sometimes, and I agree with you, it might be a cool way to make different shapes and things like that. All right, so these are some old prints that I made when I did the faux gel plate video. And as you can see, you get some different things on here. Like this is the newsprint, so from a phone book. And you can see that the stamp is in there and things like that. So this is a stencil you can see in there. Here's the butterflies, all sorts of different looks that you can get. And when you start doing this, all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. You're going to end up with sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets. So very cool. Oh, and I was going to mention, Sue, the avocado paper that you made might be a really good thing to use for gel prints. So maybe give that a try, see what that does. All right, gel printing. I'm gonna roll up the sleeves here. Okay, I'm gonna flip us to a double view here. There we go. So we've got a side view and we've got the top view. So on the side, and let me just flip back real quick here. I've got a piece of just plain white paper, this is that same resume paper, I'm going to roll off my, my brayer on that. Okay. So we're going to start, I'm going to start by like getting my things reorganized here. Okay. I've got a couple of different mediums that we're going to explore today. Distress spray stains. Okay. There we go. I've got some Liquitex Basics acrylics. These I use a lot. The acrylics is kind of a traditional paint to use on your gel plates. So any kind of acrylic paint works well. And then I do have a distress paint. Now, distress paint does dry permanent, although I've noticed on my mat here, and then even on my brayers, because they're got like a bit of silicone on them, it does clean up. So it is possible. Okay, so I'm going to start with the distress paint. This is Crackling Campfire. So if you've been getting all of the new colors and you're getting the bundle, you don't know what to do with the paint, this is one thing you can do with it. All right, so we're just going to roll it on here with our brayer. And I want to just get like a base coat here. So this does roll a little bit differently than a gel plate will roll. Like I said, you're going to get a little bit of a different result here, because it does like to dry a little faster. All right, so when you have your paint on here, you want to get it off of your brayer. You're just going to brayer it on your piece of paper on the side here. All right. So the first thing that you can do is take a print. All right, so if I just put my paper in here, just give it a nice little press down. Sometimes you want to take a clean brayer, you can do that. All right, and then you're going to lift it up. All right, so this is the result that you're going to get. You're going to see all those little lines. It looks like it's nice and painted on there. It's pretty cool. So the paper's a little damp, and it's going to dry pretty quickly. So we're going to let that dry. But we've got paint on here already, which is great. This is where the fun starts to happen, because you're going to start picking up random layers and things, and it's going to just kind of organically turn into something really cool. So the other difference when you're using a silicone mat is that it doesn't ever come up 100% clean. So on a gel plate, like this little layer of orange here, it would eventually pull up off of the gel plate onto a piece of paper. In this case, a lot of this is going to stay behind, and that's just kind of the way it is. All right, so I'm going to put a stencil down and take some of this green, and you're going to say, no, green and orange, it's not going to work. Well, guess what? The orange is dry. And I might even take some of this Rustic Wilderness and put just a little drop over here. All right, and again, I'm taking my brayer and I'm just going to brayer that over. All right, so these two are going to start mixing. All right, there's a couple prints now that I can take from this. All right, so I'm going to wipe off my brayer again, and let me switch us down to that split view. All right, so here's what we've got going on. And let's take another piece of white. I'm going to put it down on here. I'm just going to rub. And that did shift a little bit. Did you see that? That happens sometimes. All right, so we're just going to rub, 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 rub. All right. See what we got. All right, so it pulled out basically just the triangles. I got a little bit of the orange going on here. We're going to add some more layers to this, so we can pull this off. And when I do that, I like to go back on the side here. Just go over it a little bit. It's not going to grab a lot, but it will grab some. So I have like a little bit of texture going on here. This is going to dry really fast too. But let's start working on a piece of wood grain paper. All right, this is still a little wet in here. You can also just give it a little spray of water if you're working on the silicone mat. Okay, this will kind of reinvigorate things a little bit for you. So the fun thing about gel printing is that this is play. The results are never scientifically perfect. You always get something new, interesting, unusual, unexpected. It's not anything that you can 100% plan for. So, and because you end up with material on your plate, a lot of times you're doing multiple pulls and things like that. So you are just kind of playing and exploring. Okay, so what I love about this is I already had that wood grain in the background, right? So now I've got this really cool triangular texture over the top of it. And I think that is just spectacular. All right, so let's keep going. I'm going to flip this around a little bit. Let's put a little bit more of the green on here. And really, I could play with the gel plate for hours. Last night I was working on some project ideas, and it was like 7 o'clock. I had no idea where the time went. All right, so and this time I'm going to put my stencil down, and then I'm going to spray it with some mustard seed spray stain. So this is something that works a little bit better with the silicone plate than a gel plate does. All right, so I'm going to go back to one that we already worked on. Like, I love the way this looks, but let's make this even more. So let's flip this over and see what we want to add on here. Now you don't have to press on everything. So like I liked what was going on over here, but I wanted a little bit more over on the other side. So I'm just pressing on that side. And so now I've got a totally different look over here and a different look here. Right, so this kind of filled in those insides in a little different way. Right. I love that you guys are stuck on the phone book. It's totally true. Like, I don't know how many people get phone books anymore. This phone book actually isn't too old, but we don't use it. So why not turn it into some awesome art, right? Pop this on here. Let's see what we got. Ooh, check that out. That's really great. I like that. Okay, so that's a couple ideas for you. Next, let's, what do I want to do? I'm really stuck on this green today, I think. I'm going to put in just a little bit of black. Just the tiniest bit. So orange and aqua is like one of my favorite color combinations. Okay, so the black will take over everything. So you really need to be careful about it. I put in not a lot, and then I didn't do a lot of brayering afterwards, right? Because I didn't want that to blend in and turn into a really ugly green black mess, right? I'm gonna take this stamp set. This is the Chase Me stamp set by Picket Fence, and as you can see, it's been well loved. I'm gonna even leave it on the backing. All right, so I'm going to stamp in here, and it's going to take off some of the paint, which I can press onto another sheet or off onto the side, however I want to do that. Sometimes you get a good impression, sometimes you don't. On a gel mat, you will get a better impression most times. All right. So see, I've got some of those little butterflies going on here now, very wispy. All right. And it is really dry here today, so I am spraying this down with a little bit of water just to kind of reinvigorate it, like I said. You may not have to do that in your area. Let's see. 2 fresh piece of paper. What do we have? Got some of the butterflies in here. A lot of green, a little bit of that orange, some of the black. We can try pulling up a little bit of the extra. Let's see if we can get a little bit, some of this orange on the side here still a little bit. There we go. That's kind of cool. I want to get something like cooler on that. So dyes are another thing you can do. Always put your dyes face up so that way they're not pressing down into your gel mat or your silicone mat. Silicone mat's not so bad. Like if it flips over into it, that's okay. So I've got, again, that mustard seed spray stain. That's going to reinvigorate this space a little bit. I'm going to go right back onto that piece that we just did. And here's the cool thing. So there is spray on the stencil, and it's also going to kind of help pop that up a little bit. What can you see here? So here's a little round. You can see a little bit of the bottle cap shape. And it just kind of helped keep it from getting everywhere. So this one's kind of a loose abstract. Let's pull these guys up. Just remember to wash your dyes and everything after you do this, because they'll be dirty. Okay, so remember this piece, this was the first piece that we did. Yeah, so anything that will create a shape you can use in your gel plate or faux gel plate printing. So this one didn't work out so well. It gave me brown, right? Because the yellow, the distress spray stain, it's more like going to soak into the paper instead of laying on top as a layer of paint. So you can see it turned yellow here, which is great. I mean, I got some spots here, but then it turned brown. Okay, so that's something to be aware of as you're working on that. All right, so I might be able to get away with it on here. But what I would like to do, so I have the yellow on here. It's still a little wet. When I put some more of this green on here, it's going to actually turn more into a green. Ooh, you see that? Turning into a funky green color. All right, so I've got a pretty good layer going on here. It's kind of a combination of green and aqua. It's really cool. Let's flip us back to the side so you can see. Okay, so I'm going to take this stamp set, and we're going to do some stamping into here, just like we did with the butterflies. But this is going to give us lines. So when I do something like this, you could put it on a block if you want to, but you could also just use your hand. And again, I like to press it onto a scrap piece. All right. I'm going to show you this scrap piece in a minute here so you can see what I've got going on. All right. So there's that. So here you can see I've got all those great flowers now on this piece. It's pretty cool. Let's put our stencil back down. All right, so part of playing with this is knowing when to say when. So sometimes it's good to just get a couple layers on, like this one I'm going to call done because that's really, really cool. And sometimes you just have to keep going because you've gotten to an ugly stage and it's time for it to get pretty. So this one is really kind of looking more like a background. It needs to have something bold on it. So I'm going to try to pull up some of this pattern here. All right. So now I've got like all sorts of weird background stuff going on here. I've got a little bit of a flower print here, a little bit of a flower print there. This one definitely needs something to help it pop. So this one we're going to leave as is. I love this one. This one needs a little more work. This one can stay as is. So let's do one last thing. Let's take these guys back on here and do even more. I can even, and we're going to do picket fence, so white. Because this is so dark, I'm going to try to pop some white on here. Come on, spray stain, you know you want to. There we go. Apparently I needed to clean my nozzle because it's spraying kind of sporadically. So you see it's picking up the yellow. That's okay. So that didn't spray quite the way I wanted it to. That's all right. Cool thing too is that you can set these aside, come back to them tomorrow and do more to them if you want. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit more in here like I'm looking for. Let's keep on here. So I'm selectively placing it. So like in this area, I want a little bit more something. So I'm just going to place it over here, make sure that I'm getting part of that dye to fill in that space a little bit. Once this gets cut down, this one might look really cool. But let's move our dyes out of the way. So the dyes, you definitely want to wash and let them like sit out to dry or whatever before you put them away, because you definitely don't want those to rust or anything like that. So this looks pretty cool. And I don't know if I want to put it on this or not, but we're going to. So remember, this was the wood grain background. And that did not do much for us because there was already so much going on with the wood grain that it needed something more bold. So really any of the yellow that got put on here is just really kind of a backgroundy look. So I think what we have to do is this. So in the case of a gel plate, a lot of this would come up and it would look really, really gorgeous. And I kind of wish that this would come up, but on a faux plate, it's just not the way that it works, unfortunately. However, if you give this a chance and you say, oh, I really like this, it's a lot of fun, get yourself a gel plate because the results are going to be even better. More funner. All right, so that gives me a little bit more interest in there. I'll do one more thing. So I really would love to pull up what's on here. This looks so cool in person. Okay, so we're going to finish off this whole set with black. Just kind of chunking it on there. I'm going to take our stencil and grab that piece that we were working on. It really needs something bold. There we go. That's what that needed. Maybe even this one. There. This has got a whole lot going on. All right. Oops. So there we go. This, like I said, on a traditional gel plate, this would pull up. You would put a nice layer of like white or something plain on the back and lift this whole thing up and it would just come up. It would be absolutely gorgeous. However, on the silicone mat, this just is not going to come up. Once it's dry on here, it just really doesn't like to pull off. So at this point, this needs to just go in some water, get soaked, and it will wash off completely. All right, so that's where this is going, into the sink. And I can wash that off later. Clean up my space a little bit here from all that white spray. Oh my goodness. So that's a little fun with the faux gel plate. Let's see what we've got here. All right. So this is work for another day for sure. This one could definitely be used if you wanted to. We're not going to. And I've got this one, and that one, and that one. And then the scrap paper that I was rolling off on, this could be used as well, or you could just set it aside for another day and continue using it as a side sheet for your ghost prints and things like that. All right. Exciting, right guys? Okay, so now we have all these really cool prints that we can play with. So we've got our die. So when you spent a long time working on something like this, you want the rest of your project to be easy so that it really helps these pieces shine, right? So these are all, well, except for this one, these are 5.5 by 8.5 pieces. So they could fit on an entire card front, or we can cut them down to, I did these as 3 3/4 by 5, so that there's like a nice little border around here, right? Our white pages is here. Yeah, I'll show you. See, here's our, this is just a little, the Southeastern Nebraska telephone directory. It's not very big. All right, I'm going to cut these down. So from just these 4 sheets, I'm going to at least be able to get 8 cards out of it. And if you want to be more selective, of course, you can find the place that you like the best and cut out just the part that you want, discard the rest, or use the rest as like little side scraps or whatever. But these are all definitely usable for other projects. All right, and so from these, I'm just going to do these 3, I think, because we have a hi, a hey, and a hello. So we're going to do some die cutting with these guys. All right, so Eclipse. I'm sure a lot of you know how to do the eclipse technique, right? So this is the eclipse technique. Basically what it is we're just going to die cut the word out of these panels, and then we're going to layer them up. In this case, I like to use fun foam if at all possible. So we're going to use fun foam to layer those up and create some really cute eclipse cards. And the nice thing about it is that it lets that background piece really shine, right? Okay, so let's do that. We don't need the shadow piece. Now you could do the shadow piece if you wanted to give it like a little extra border. That's slightly different than what an eclipse technique would technically be, but you could do that. So we can do like so. So basically, super easy. All right, so that one's going to get cut there. And then this one, the hello, is kind of large. So we can do that. Now you need to save all the little pieces inside. So we don't want those to go away. And then the hey, we could do either way, this way or this way, however you prefer. I like that this has got the flower in it. So let's do this. And actually, I'll do that. So this is just kind of centered on the bottom. There we go. So when I was setting up for today, I pulled out some fun foam, and then I pulled out some double-sided adhesive. But what I didn't really think about was that putting the double-sided adhesive on the backs of these is even easier. So so yes, we have the dies on here already. That's okay. Then you don't have to even worry about like any of the gluing. You're just going to go ahead and stick these on when you're done. All right, so we're going to back all of these with some double-sided adhesive sheets. Makes it super simple. And then when you when we do the foam, it'll make it easy to stick on. It'll make it easy to stick the little center pieces in. Just makes everything easy. All right. So yeah, Becca, go ahead and place that link for how to make a gel plate. I don't know that that'll be a how-to that I'll be tackling anytime soon. So I always want to make sure that your dies are secure. Right. So Alicia, yeah, you could use the pieces from the phone book for sure. The only reason I'm not going to do that today is because you can still see too much of the wording. So I would be more likely to use those phone book pieces as a part of a real, like a mixed media collage project, or somewhere where they're going to get covered up further and it's going to be harder to read people's phone numbers. But yeah, you certainly can use them. All right, so these all need to get run through the die cut machine, and they are too wide to go through my mini blossom. So we got to go over to the Gemini. All right. So there is the first one and our second one. All right. And our third one. There we go. So all of my card bases are long fold and they are long cut and they fold at the top. So they're 11 inches by 4¼ and they're scored at 5½. And it's perfectly okay to do a landscape card with the fold on the side. I actually kind of like it. All right, so that's how that one's going to go. So we're going to take out the hello and get our base piece in place here. Start from this side. All right, so it's always a good idea to work from the fold out. So here's my fold. I'm doing this backwards because I'm left-handed. And what I'm going to do is make sure that the sides and the top are, there's all about an even space. And so this is really important when you're working with the double-sided adhesive sheets because they're really sticky. So if you've got an even side, top, side, as you come across, just go ahead and pull your backing while you're doing this. You should end up with pretty even spacing. And then if you have, like, if you've got a little bit of extra on the side here, you can go ahead and just trim there, right? Yeah, so, and Cindy, I agree too. I think they stand up really well that way. All right, so there we go. Now, we've got our little center pieces and we've got to do some foam as well. So I need to remove my word and the center pieces. Set those off to the side because I need to cut this in some foam. All right, so this is just black fun. It's called fun foam. Everyone calls it fun foam. It's just something that you can get at the craft store. And I'm going to run this just through my little mini blossom right here at the table. So Tara says that she uses deli paper with her gel plate. Yes. So I know a lot of people that use deli paper with the gel plate. It's thin, it's white, it's a little bit opaque, a little bit transparent. It brayers well. You can tear it. You can do all sorts of great things with deli paper. All right, so just a little foam action here for our eclipse. Don't need the middle pieces for the foam piece. All right, so because we've got our double-sided adhesive on this here, all we have to do is get that started and match them up. And I like this particular die set because it's nice and chunky. It's fairly easy to get these guys matched up. You might need to get your head like right over it if that's helpful for you. If you don't want to use fun foam, you can cut just multiples of different colored cardstock or thicker white cardstock. There's all sorts of different ways that you can get dimension on this. Fun foam is just a really easy way to do it. You can get different colors of fun foam as well. I just happen to have just black and white. All right, so see how that's all nice and matched up on there? Really cool. All right. And I did not put double-sided adhesive on the back, though I could have. Just going to do some of my favorite Tombow adhesive. Tombow Multi, my favorite. I've been using this adhesive for years, and I've tried others, but I always come back. So I've stopped trying others because I love Tombow. All right, so now we're just going to place this right back in the space. If you're using foam, sometimes it does take a little bit extra to dry. So you might just want to hold that down for a second. And then I'm going to take my little inside pieces and pop those right back in. This is what truly makes the eclipse look, because you're not supposed to really notice the word or the image that you've die cut out. All right, otherwise you would see those lines right through there. So just my little tweezers here, pop those right back in place. You see how the double-sided adhesive makes that so easy? You can do a little adjustment if you need to. There we go. So if you want, you can add extra embellishment on here, or you can just leave it plain. Like I said, I love to just let that gel plate shine. So we're not going to add any extra embellishment. All right, so there we go. There's one. Next. All right, this one I think is going to be gorgeous. So we used this die last week as well, and it's got the big tittle. That's the dot for the eye. All right, so that is going to be gorgeous on just a plain piece of white. Nuvo, you know what? I have the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I would say it is comparable to Tombow. However, I'm not as crazy about the applicator on the Nuvo as I am about the Tombow. So, John, I would totally recommend either. Okay. Okay, so again, we're gonna flip that over. Okay, and again, I am just popping in my layers here. This happens, right? Sometimes these little pieces don't go where you want them to. So try to kind of pop them up a little bit, and then you can get it to go down flat and straight. If you feel like you're going to have a problem with it, you can always take your die and settle it in there and just try to shimmy it into place, so that way you get it placed properly. All right, so for this one, if you really wanted to, you could use white fun foam, and that would really give it a very light look. It wouldn't play off any of the darker colors in here, but you could totally use white. All right, so what is Nancy's? Oh, Ms. Tamp says, oh, Ms. Tamp, you need to play with the gel plate. You must. Must. Yeah, this kind of looks like a snowflake, doesn't it? So I picked up my fun foam from Amazon. It was a pack of both white and black. You can also find it at craft stores. They just call it craft foam sometimes. I think there may have been a brand called Fun Foam at some point, and that's where it always sticks in my head. A lot of people know it by Fun Foam, but it's just craft foam that you can find at the craft store. It's about like a 1/16 of an inch thick. It's not very thick, but people use it for all sorts of different types of craft projects. Dollar General, good answer, Cindy. You're a creative, Cindy. Absolutely. You'll pay a lot less there than you will at Michael's for sure. Okay. So there we go. And it's just going to pop her right back in place. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So there we go, right back in place. And then our little eye needs some it needs some love too, doesn't it? Because we don't want to just pop it in there. We want it to be popped up. So the eye is a little tricky. You want to make sure that you're getting it to follow the lines. So there we go. For those of you in my Bloom Crafters group, we do have a practice and play session coming up at the end of the month. That would be a great time for us to mess around with gel plates if that was something you were interested in. All right. There we go. Second one done. See how quick these can come together when you're just working on assembling from your gel prints. Super easy. Last one. Yeah, John, totally. Some Fun Foam is actually already sticky backed, so that would save you a step if you wanted to put the double-sided adhesive on your Fun Foam pieces. It would fit. See, this is me like trying to be frugal. Will it fit? No, not quite. All right. So Cece, are you talking about our next practice and play session? If so, then yeah, let's do it. All right. All of my Bloom membership people are in for a gel plate party. It sounds like fun, guys. If you're not a member of the Bloom membership, you need to get on the waiting list. We will be opening again soon, I promise. All right. Last card for the day. Again, always make sure you know where your fold is. Have you ever done that before where you've put something together and the fold was on the backwards, on the opposite direction, not where you meant it to be? That's always the worst. All right, so this one has got some little bits that I want to line up. Let's get those in place there. So see, if you just take your die and you pop it right in place, you can pop it right in. Sure, Nancy, we could do it in both the morning and afternoon sessions. I'm sure people will have questions after the morning sesh if they want to pop in the afternoon sesh. All right, so there we go. This one, even though it has the flower in it, it is reading very masculine to me, and I think this would be a really a cute card for a guy. I would even add in, say you had some nice little sentiment strips that go along with these, like hey, hi, hello sentiments, right? I would even add a sentiment strip to these. That would be kind of nice. So if you wanted to say more than hey, hi, or hello, you would be able to add like just a little sentiment strip right here or underneath it or something like that. That would be really kind of nice. Oh, you guys, putting cards on card bases upside down. Oh, it's the worst. After having done that many times myself, I've just turned it into a habit. I always check my card base before I stick something down. Knock on wood, I haven't done it live yet. Oh. But we all do it. Right. There we go. Can't forget about our little piece here in the center. Because otherwise that looks just kind of silly, doesn't it? You have like this little white spot in the middle. So there we go. We've got hey, hi, hello, and where's our original inspiration? This one was bright. I like that too. There we go. So look, 4 cards, 3 cards. We got all sorts of pieces still that we can use for other projects. You can die cut these. You can do all sorts of different things with these pieces, right? Treat them like patterned paper. Anything that you can do with patterned paper, you can do with these. All right. So there you guys go. Awesome, fun projects. New technique, something to try if you've not pulled out your gel plate. This obviously gives you an opportunity to do that. If you don't have a gel plate, like I said, I encourage you to try it with a silicone mat first, the faux gel plate technique. After this video is over and I can pop in a little thing up above, I will put in the link for the technique if you want to review that outside of this video. And yeah, so guys, I'm so glad that you joined me today. I hope you enjoyed today's projects and that you were inspired to create something with them, to maybe pull out your gel plate and have some fun. Of course, don't forget about the links down below. If you need my freebie, you want to get on my mailing list, if you need to do some shopping, all that good stuff, it's all down below. Before you head out, if you loved today's video, please do remember to give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it. It really does help YouTube know that you enjoyed today's content, and it helps to serve up more content like this in your search results, and for other people that are looking for crafters like me that they would like to watch and follow. So thank you to everybody. I really appreciate your time today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope you get some time to craft, because crafting makes the world go round. I will see you guys next week, and until then, happy crafting. Thank you.